Alright, so he thinks he said all he needed to say on Superman. He thinks for a lot of people, and for myself included, it's his most anticipated film of the year. He's really hoping that it's a very successful movie. It makes a lot of money at the box office. And I think a lot of us are hoping that the story, the characters, the writing is very good. Yeah. Superman has to succeed, or else these other projects are probably going to be canceled. So let's hope it's good. Let's hope Superman is a good movie. Yeah. So, anyways, the next project, Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, 2026, it's coming out next year. Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, described by Gunn as a big science fiction epic film and a beautiful star-spanning tale. Excuse me. The film contrasts the jaded character Kara Zor-El slash Supergirl, who was raised on a chunk of the destroyed planet Krypton and watched everybody around her pass away, with her cousin Superman, who was raised on Earth by loving parents. When Gunn and Safran unveiled their initial DCU slate in January 2023, they included a film adaptation of the comic book miniseries Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, by Tom King and Bilquis Evely. If he botched that, his bad. In November 2023, Anna Noguera, sorry if she botched these names, was revealed to be writing the screenplay. And she's also, it said that she's also writing the Teen Titans movie. So there's that too. Continuing on here. And Millie Alcock was cast as Supergirl in January 2024 to debut in Superman. Now, him personally, he knows that Sydney Sweeney was like, people like wanted to cast her in like every superhero female role that had blonde hair, but I personally wouldn't have minded if she was cast to play Supergirl. I'm not gonna lie, I think that would have been pretty cool, but because she's a good actress from what I've seen, so I don't know. I personally would have casted her as Supergirl, but that's neither here nor there. Because I haven't seen Game of Thrones or House of the Dragon, so I can't really speak on the Millie Alcock's if she's right for the role. I'm just but also I don't have much expertise in that type of stuff. I just know the. So yeah, as I was saying, I don't know if she's right for the role. Hopefully she is. Yeah. She was cast as Supergirl in January 2024 to debut in Superman. Craig Gillespie entered talks to direct the film in April 2024 and was confirmed as director the next month. Filming is taking place from mid-January to May at Warner Brothers Studios Leavesden and London in England and Iceland, and was halfway completed by late February. So, just like Superman, the production for this movie seems to be going smoothly, and that's a good thing. That seems to be going with these projects so far, Superman and now this movie. So let's hope that this trend keeps going, where they announce the director, the actors, and the writers, the writer of the writers of the movie, and let's hope the production keeps going smoothly, because now it's March, and so they're halfway through filming, which is crazy because they started filming in mid-January, and it's already March, and it's gonna be May soon. It's crazy. But anyways, Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow is scheduled to be released on June 26, 2026. Jason Momoa is set to portray Lobo in the film after previously playing Aquaman in DCEU. So yeah, I hope this is a good movie. I didn't see the Supergirl show from the CW. I just know I'm more interested in Superman than Supergirl, but anything Superman related, I'm gonna be interested in. So I'm hoping this is a good movie. Jason Momoa is cast as Lobo. I don't know much about the Lobo character except from what I saw in Superman the Animated Series, which is excellent, by the way. But you guys already know that if you've seen it. I remember Lobo in that show. The Last is Narnian or something like that. So yeah, he was a good character there. So a lot of people seem to be think that Jason Momoa is the perfect casting choice for Lobo, and I can't really I don't really have much to say on that. Hopefully the movie's good. Hopefully he's good as Lobo, and yeah. So that's all he has to say about this movie. Alright, so the next movie is Clayface, which is also coming out in 2026. And it says a body horror Hollywood story about a B movie actor who uses a substance to remain relevant but becomes made entirely of clay. So I'm just going to say right off the bat, I'm not a fan of horror. Yes, I watch slashers, but that's the only horror genre that I can really handle. I can't handle so much of the other genres, there's some genres that I personally just don't want to be scared. But then that also asks the question, why are you watching slashers? I don't know. It's just because with slashers, I think it's just because there's an actual physical uh, 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 killer. There's an actual physical person, so it's not like I can handle that. I guess I don't really know how to explain it. Whereas if it's like an entity that you can't is there, but like you can't physically like touch it or see it, I can't do that stuff. But anyways, I'm not a fan of horror, but so that's already something about this movie that I'm not the biggest fan of. Although I think Clayface himself, the concept and the character itself is very interesting. Anyways, in March 2023, filmmaker Mike Flanagan and his Intrepid Pictures partner Trevor Macy met with Gunn and Safran regarding a film centered on the character Clayface, in which he would not be the villain that he typically is portrayed as in the comics. He doesn't really like the sound of that, because the Sony Spider-Man-less universe, they mostly turn all the villains into anti-heroes when they're villains for a reason. Anyways, continuing on. If the film were to move forward, it was unclear at the time if it would be part of the DCU or an Elseworlds film. Excuse me. Matt Reeves' The Batman sequel, 2027, was also expected to feature the character. In December 2024, DC Studios greenlit the film for the DCU with a script written by Flanagan. I still don't quite know why, but anyways, continuing on here. Safran compared the film's tone to the 1986 film The Fly. Reeves was confirmed to be producing alongside Lynn Harris and of his company Sixth and Idaho Productions, but Flanagan was unable to direct due to his commitments to his The Exorcist film, also coming out in 2026, and a Carrie television series. In February of this year, Alan Tudyk was confirmed to not be reprising his voice role as Clayface from Creature Commandos and the standalone animated series Harley Quinn, that started airing in 2019 and is still currently airing to this day because it was not his primary DCU role. At that time, James Watkins was hired to direct the film, while filming expected to begin in this year. Clayface is scheduled to be released in September 2026. So yeah, Clayface is definitely one of the more odder and unusual projects that a lot of people, and himself included, have been like, out of all the characters you have, out of all the projects you could potentially make, you decide to greenlit a Clayface movie? Why? I think the character is cool and all, and the concept is cool. And the concept of the character is very cool. But why? Why Clayface though? Why is he getting a movie? It's just very weird. It's very odd as to why he's getting a movie. It's just, I don't really get it. He's just kind of confused. When all the characters you have, you decide to greenlight a movie for Clayface. Hopefully it's a good movie, but still. And he's also hoping, I think some people, and himself included, are also hoping that the DCU Batman at least makes a short cameo. Just a little cameo. The movie's not about Batman, it's about Clayface. But hopefully we just get a little cameo from him. Would they be able to cast an actor in time for that? Probably not, but hey, anything Batman related, I am here for it. But Clayface, I'm hoping it's a good movie, but it's just not. Some of the things we've already heard about it that I'm just not really on board with, like it being a body horror movie. Um, yeah, that he would not be the villain that he typically is portrayed in the comics. So I'm when I hear stuff like that, I'm just like, no, I'm not on board with that. And then yeah, that's pretty much it. Um, so it's gonna start filming. It said mid this year, so I'm assuming like May, June, maybe. So I hopefully it's a good movie, but this is one of the projects that I'm least looking forward to, for sure. If you wanted to do Clayface, you could just, I don't know, like included him as a side villain in Batman the Brave and the Bold. It's not called Batman the Brave and the Bold, although he hopes they add Batman to the title Brave and the Bold. But anyways, I'm ranting. So yeah, we're gonna move on from this and talk about the next project. But uh the first two projects, Superman, Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, I can understand why those projects are being made because those two, especially Superman, is one of the most iconic superheroes of all time and in the world. But Clayface, is just it's a movie that I'm just not. It's one of the projects they've announced that he's the least interested in. But it could, if it's executed well. I mean, you could say if anything is executed well, or if they do it properly, it can be good. So hopefully it's a good movie. So yeah. All right, next movie, The Authority, which doesn't have a release date, doesn't have a director, doesn't have any writers. At least currently announced at this point in time. So, The Authority. Gunn described The Authority as a team that thinks the world, and I quote, thinks the world is completely broken. And the only way to fix it is to take things into their own hands, whether that means ending people's lives, destroying heads of state, changing governments, whatever they want to do to make the world better. End quote. Safran compared the morally complex team to Jack Nicholson's character in A Few Good Men, a movie from 1992. While Gunn and Safran unveiled their initial DCU slate in January 2023, they included a film based on the superhero team The Authority, which was created by Warren Ellis and Brian Hitch for the independent comic book publisher Wildstorm. Wildstorm was acquired by DC Comics, and its characters, including The Authority, were introduced to the DC Comics continuity. Similarly, Gunn and Safran intended to include Wildstorm characters in their own DC Universe continuity, starting with The Authority. Gunn described the film as a passion project for which he had been working on an outline with the other DC Studios writers. Other projects had taken priority over The Authority by February of this year. Other projects had taken. I already said that. When Gunn said the film was very big and that the script had struggled coming together, Gunn said the film would have connections to Superman. Okay, so The Authority is another of these movies that it's a very odd and unusual choice for me because I don't read comic books. What I know, I've watched I watched the TV shows, the movies, and I watched a lot of videos of people who are more knowledgeable and actually read comic books. I watch those videos and then I gain and then I that's the information they are saying in the video. That's where I get my information. So The Authority is another one of these movies that is definitely a project that I wouldn't have chosen to be in this chapter. It's a group that not a lot of people know about unless like you're like I don't know like if unless you're like a comic book a person who like reads comic books and like knows like a lot, you know. So it definitely seems like one of those teams that really is very like you have to be like really in the know of like the comic book of and reading comic books to know about this team. So yeah, um, and it's also seems like The Authority is like The Boys, where these people are they're superheroes and they're like delivering their own brand of justice. All right, so what I think what he was trying to say was that the Authority seems to be like a lesser known team, and unless you like, let me say it this way, like the casual audience, uh, he doesn't think they would know who the Authority is, while people who have lots of comic book knowledge, um, would um would know about them. And so this movie is just a very interesting and very unique and odd choice to include in this first chapter. And he said he said that it's been compared to The Boys, but the Authority came first because the they their series started in 1999, I think, and then The Boys must have started in like 2006, 2007, or something like that. And also, even though the uh, the the superheroes in The Boys are not, they're corrupt, they're evil. The actual like Butcher and Huey and the others, uh, and Frenchie, and they're the people who are taking down the heroes. But with the Authority, the heroes themselves, they're doing what the what anti-heroes do. They will take down, they'll do whatever is necessary to eliminate threats. If that means ending people's lives, they will do that, which is interesting. But he heard somewhere they said that. So the thing with the script is, they said that the other projects had taken priority. That doesn't sound too good, and that the film was very big, and that the script had struggled coming together. That doesn't sound good either. And also with the fact that this movie, if it got canceled, that would be um very that wouldn't be a good thing, because not only would people not get to see that movie, but the gun already put one of the members of the Authority in the movie. he put he put the engineer who's a part of the Authority in the Superman movie. Why? I don't know. That seems like a very, that's not a character that he would involve. That's not a character he thinks he would involve in a Superman movie. But hey, what do I know? But yeah, um, the I don't really know a lot about the team. But it seems like a cool concept. I mean, I like anti-hero stuff just as much as like regular superheroes, regular heroes who do the right thing, save people, and all that stuff. So it could be a good project once again. And also, once again, I want to say this: some of these projects that we know very little about, we might not know a lot for like a long time. So like years, which is crazy. But because like I definitely, I was reading this comment where somebody said that I think it was like Lucasfilm, Marvel, DC shouldn't announce projects unless it's a situation where it's like Clayface, where they already have a script ready and they're ready to start, and they're looking at cast people. That's and ready to start filming. I agree with that. Unless you have a script ready, don't announce these projects, because it just it's just because and also from this video, what I've heard, uh um like, they've announced these projects, but we know very little about them, and we probably won't know a lot about them for years. But the person said they just have a title graphic, and I agree. Like, why are you announcing these projects, and then down the line, if they get canceled, you announce them, and now the project is canceled and nobody gets to see it. That's just not a good move um, to do. So it's just like they should have just waited to announce. Like, for example, the only two projects that realistically that they should have announced are Superman and Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, and I guess Clayface and Sergeant Rock. I think those are the only four movies that have scripts. I'll have to check back on that. But anyways, I think those are the only four projects that had scripts already written and were ready to start casting, start shooting, and all that. And I think that's what they should have done. Don't announce projects and then and put out a graphic, and then years later we know little to nothing about them. So like I agree with that comment, and I agree with what that person was saying in that video. Don't announce stuff um, if you don't have a script ready, because the script is the most important thing, or it's one of the most important things that you need. And James Gunn has said they've said that no project will be greenlit unless there's a script ready. So so like why are you announcing these projects? Just I understand it's very exciting to to want to know about these projects, and that's all well and good. I'm very interested in most of these projects, but that's not the point though. The point is that if there's not a script ready, we don't need to know about it. We don't need to know about that project yet. When the script is ready, then you can announce it to the world. You can say, okay, we have a script. It's ready. We're casting now, and we're hoping to start shooting this year or later this year or next year. Any of that stuff like that. That's what I think should be done. And people who have said that, I completely 200% agree with you. Anyways, he hopes The Authority doesn't get canceled. He hopes it's a good movie. If it does get made, also there's been rumors that it could be, they could be shifting it around to turn it into like an R-rated, like animated series or movie, which could work. It could work. As long as it doesn't get canceled and the script and the dialogue and the movie itself is good. The characters, the right people are casted to play the characters or voice the characters, whichever. He's hoping the movie's good. So hopefully there's some positive updates on that movie, which will probably be years from now, just like some of these other projects. But anyways, we've talked about The Authority long enough. So yeah, he's hoping it's good. I was watching this video from his channel called Boba Talks, which I'm sure a lot of you know. And there was this comment that said, if Superman really if Superman really and so much pressure on it, I'm assuming they meant to say if Superman has so much pressure on it and WB didn't have any money, DC wouldn't be shooting so many movies and shows this year. And I hadn't thought about that. I mean, they've started shooting Supergirl, Lanterns. They're looking to shoot Clayface, Sergeant Rock. So, and they're also looking to shoot the Secret Six movie, which is rumored to be it's rumored to be a Secret Six movie. But yeah, I hadn't thought about that. This person has a point. Like, if they didn't have all this money, they wouldn't be greenlighting all these projects. So they're right. I didn't think about that. Continue on here. They say the person who wrote this story, because in the video, an article was written, and so that's what this person is commenting on. The person who wrote the story doesn't understand how movies are even made, because the crux of their article is that WB doesn't have any money to make or promote movies, when that's not how it works. They borrow the money to make movies from banks, and WB just had its best fiscal quarter in years. I did not know about any of that. One of the facts I never knew, and I actually learned because somebody told it to me, is that studios have to go to the bank. They have to borrow money from the bank so they can go out and make their TV shows and movies. I never knew that. I really didn't. And so it was very interesting to learn that. But yeah, so, and them having their best fiscal quarter in years, sorry if you botched that, that's, you like to hear that. So and then they continue to say, there's pressure, but it's not solely on Superman. It's on the first few years of DC Studios releases. And now thinking about it, this person is right once again. Yes, Superman has to succeed, but they've already started shooting all these shows, so they're not just gonna. Although although I was about to say they wouldn't just cancel them. Although they did cancel. They took a tax write-off on that on the Coyote versus Acme movie, the Batgirl movie that was going to be made. So I don't want to say they wouldn't write these projects off for tax write-offs, but I do mostly agree that there's pressure. but it's not solely on Superman. It's on the first few years of DC Studios releases. So that part, most of everything that's said here, he completely 200% agrees, and he takes back everything he said about if he did say about it in the first part that it's solely on Superman, because it's not. This person is right. It's on the first few years of DC releases, the first few years of DC Studios releases. So, and this comic got 47 likes, and so clearly this person has a point. So he agrees. But back to the projects. So yeah, he went back to check. So yeah, Supergirl is filming right now. Lanterns is filming. Uh, uh, Clayface is looking to start filming this year. Sergeant Rock is also looking to start filming this year. And the rumored Secret Six movie, or what people think is rumored to be the Secret Six movie, is also going to start filming this year. So that's a lot of stuff to start filming. So yeah, clearly WB has money, or else they wouldn't be planning to shoot all these projects this year. So yeah, once again, he mostly agrees with what this comment says. So yeah, moving on to the next project. All right, the next project is The Brave and the Bold. The film explored members of the Bat family, including introducing Batman's son, Damian Wayne, as a version of Robin. Gunn said the film would be a strange father and son story, in quotes, about Batman and Robin. After Gunn and Safran were hired, Zaslav said of their new plan for the DCU, there's not going to be 4 Batmans. That's a quote. When Gunn and Safran unveiled their initial DCU slate a month later, they included The Brave and the Bold, which introduces the DCU version of Batman. Gunn said the film was based on Grant Morrison's 2006 to 2013 run on the comics. That's a very long run. But anyways, continuing on, Ben Affleck was confirmed to not be reprising his DCEU role of Batman, while Matt Reeves' version of Batman was confirmed to continue separately from the DCU's version under the DC Elseworlds label. Thankfully. Continuing on, the Flash director Andy Muschietti, if he botched that name, his bad, was hired to direct the film in June 2023, with his sister Barbara co-producing alongside Gunn and Safran. He's never been on board with Andy Muschietti directing The Brave and the Bold. He doesn't know if he said that in the first part, but he's repeating it here. He's just not, because The Flash, he wasn't a big fan of it, as were most people, him included, again. Continuing on here, Muschietti said that development on the film had been postponed by December 2024 because of his other commitments, and to ensure it did not, continuing on here, conflict with Reeves' The Batman sequel. A writer had been hired for the film by February of this year, and was closely working on the script with Gunn. Muschietti was not actively involved in the project then, but Safran said he would be shown the script once it was ready. So he has a lot of things to say about this movie, even though we don't know a lot. But this is his most anticipated project, because Batman is his favorite. Even if you don't want to call him a superhero hero of all time, his favorite fictional character of all time. So yeah, let's get started. So the film exploring members of the Bat family, I think a lot of people are on board with that, and so is he. Damian being the Robin, I would have preferred if it was Dick Grayson or Tim Drake, but you know, at least they're doing Robin again after it's been so long, you know. But continuing on, so it's a good thing. So them announcing, so there's not going to be 4 Batmans, quote by Zaslav. They unveiled the slate, and this movie was included. That's good. I don't know anything about the comic book run it's based on. I'm hoping it's good. But Ben Affleck not being involved, that's fine too. And this being the DCU Batman being separate from Matt Reeves' version of Batman is also good, because there were lots of rumors going on that James Gunn might want to bring in Robert Pattinson's Batman into the DCU for some reason, which wouldn't have worked, as a lot of people pointed out, and they gave their reasons why, and he agreed with them as well. Once again, the video is getting very long, so he's going to have to end it, and this is going to be part 2. We're just going to talk about make a video for each of the projects individually, and so yeah, so we're going to finish talking about the Brave and the Bold in a different video, and then we're going to make a video for each project. So yeah, so like and subscribe, follow on Twitter and Instagram if you want to, and yeah.